We're talking about the law of cosines today. You're going to learn how to solve triangles now using the law of cosines. So sine has its own way, or you use law of sines for certain triangles. You use law of cosines for other types of triangles. There is no ambiguous case or anything like that with law of cosines. It's very straightforward. It is a formula, and you use that formula no matter which two situations you have for law of cosines. As you can see, it's side, 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 and side, angle, side. Yes, ma'am?
So, side, angle, side. Is that one that we have for the side, law of sine?
So the difference with this one is side, angle, side. The angle is in between the two sides. So it's not side, side, angle. When it's side, side, angle, the angle isn't in between the two sides. So what that looks like is like 4, 5, and 60. This would be side, side, angle. But side, angle, side would be like this. The angle's in between the two sides. So the two sides, the angle they form, you know that angle. So this is when you use law of cosines, okay?
Is it going to be on the test? Is it going to be like here's a bunch of triangles, use whatever law, or is it going to be like
It's gonna
law of sine?
It's gonna be like you have to be able to recognize which one it is. You're gonna have to be able to recognize which one it is. So using side, angle, side, law of cosines, okay? You're given two sides, an included angle. The first thing, or the easiest thing to find would be the side across from the angle that you're given. So you have the formulas for the law of cosines already in your foldable. I know you see three formulas, but realize that they're all the same. Every single one of them is the same. It's just dependent on which angle you're given, okay? So if I'm given angle A, I want to find side A first. If I'm given angle B, I want to find side B first. If I'm given angle C, I want to find side C first, and et cetera, okay? So in a triangle, angle A is 54. I'm going to use this triangle, so I have to redraw one, because you guys know I write big. But in triangle ABC, angle A is 54, AB is 11, and AC is 18. Does everybody see how it's side, angle, side? Okay? So it's asking me to find BC to the nearest tenth. BC is side A because it's across from angle A. So then I'm going to use this first formula right here to find BC. So I plug it in. BC squared equals B squared. What's B? 18. Plus C squared. What's C?
11.
Minus 2. B, which was 18. C, which was 11. Cosine angle A. Angle A is 54. So I basically typed this entire line into my calculator. And then to actually find BC, what I'm going to have to do? Square root it. Okay, so really and truly, if I wanted to, I could actually do square root all of that. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can just do the whole line and then square root your answer. Okay? And then that's how we'll be able to find a side length. Calculator's too big. So I type in my whole line, square root. I want to make sure I'm in what mode? Degree. And for me, I think, yep, I had to use my calculator for another class, so I was on the wrong mode. Just double check. Did everybody get this?
Yep.
So I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, so it's going to be 14.6. And of course, if there were units, then I'll put the units as well. Did you guys put your units on your homework?
Yes.
At least for the word problems? So in number 2, we have a triangle set up. We're trying to find the value of x, round to the nearest tenth. Okay? X can be any one of these sides. It really doesn't matter whether it's A, B, or C because, again, the angle that you're given is always opposite of the side that you're trying to find. So when I set this up, hopefully you guys did x squared is equal to 10 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 10 times 14 times the cosine of 68. And then before you actually wrote your final answer, you did what? Square root. Very straightforward, right? Law of cosines, very straightforward. Nearest tenth, what is it? 13.8. Any objections? Okay, do number 3. So in number 3, again, someone said, bless you, set it up for me. Bless you. Anyone? X squared. 22 squared. Plus 13 squared. Then we want to make sure we what? Square root. Rounding to, oh, this one doesn't say. So if it doesn't say, how do I want you to round? Or was it for one answer? Oh, okay. Then we'll round to the nearest 10th. But yes, if it doesn't say, 3 significant figures. Okay? But to the nearest 10th, what is it?
21.8.
Questions on finding side lengths using the law of cosines. You use the same formula when you're given all 3 sides and you're trying to find an angle, okay? And you're trying to find an angle. You use all the same formula, okay? So in number 4, we're given all 3 sides. AB is 10, BC is 9, and AC is 16, and we're trying to find angle B. Well, if I'm trying to find angle B, then that means I need to use the angle B formula, okay? And I need to plug everything in that I know. This time, I know B, so I'm going to plug in 16 squared for B squared. A squared is 9 squared. C squared is 10 squared minus 2 times 9 times 10 cosine B. Okay? Now, at this point, it's all a matter of order of operations. Please do not, well, let me hold off on that first. What's 16 squared? 256. What's 9 squared? 10 squared. What is 2 times 9 times 10? Do not add 81 plus 100, then subtract 180. You can add 81 and 100, but do not subtract 180. Why not? Because that 180 is a part of the cosine. So that means that you can't add a number to that with the trig function, okay? So I can add these two together, but then that 180 cosine B stays 180 cosine B. Now I need to solve for B. How do I get B by itself? Subtract 181. So what's 256 minus 181? So don't lose the negative. I got to bring down a negative 180 cosine B. I divide by a negative 180. Some decimal, right? Okay. So right now I have cosine B is equal to negative 75 over 180. Which is negative 5 over 12. So now what do I need to do to find actual B? I got to do the inverse. Remember, anytime we're looking for an angle, we always have to do the inverse. So this is where that part comes in. So I'm going to do the cosine inverse of negative 75 over 180 to get my answer. And I am trusting that you guys did the algebra right, correct? Did you guys get this?
Yes.
So I'm rounding to the nearest 10th. So what's angle B? And that's how I can use the law of cosines to find angles. You want to do one more together? Or you try number 6 on your own? Okay. Here's their no labels. If you want to label the side or the angles, you can. It really doesn't make a difference. Okay? But if that helps you, so in that way you're like, okay, I feel more comfortable now, I can plug things into the formula, then go ahead, do so. Okay? But this becomes 28 squared equals 20 squared plus 34 squared minus 2 times 20 times 34 cosine x. Gonna have some large numbers here. What's 28 squared? 20 squared is 400, right?
Yes.
What's 34 squared? 1156. What is 2 times 20 times 34?
1360.
So I'm going to need to add those two first numbers together, subtract them to 784. What's 784 minus 1556? 772. How do I keep solving for x? Negative 1360. I divide. And then my last step is to do what? The inverse. A negative divided by a negative is a? So what's my angle? Do number 6 on your own. So when looking at number 6, somebody set it up for me.
13 squared equals 21 squared plus 16 squared minus 2, parentheses 21, parentheses 16 cosine x.
Very good. The main thing is that whatever angle you're looking for, the side opposite of it is always by itself on that left-hand side. Okay? So 13 squared, 21 squared, 16 squared, and 2 times 21 times 16. I know I need to add those first two numbers together and then subtract them. Can someone tell me what it is after I've subtracted it? Just so I can save me some lines. So then just solve for x, I what? What's the cosine to the negative 1 thing called? What's the word for it? Yes, the inverse. So what'd you guys get for that angle? 38.2?
Yes.
Okay. So questions on using the law of cosines. Now do realize that in each one of these, we've only found one side or found one angle. Okay? We've only found one side or we found one angle. If it asks you to solve the triangle beyond this, right? So let's say for this particular problem, it asked you to find the other remaining angles. Well, at this point, now that I know one of my angles, I could use either law of cosines or law of sines to find either of the two angles. Okay? So if it asks you to actually solve the triangle, yes, you may have to start out using law of cosines, but it doesn't mean you have to continue to use law of cosines to find the rest of the missing pieces. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So I want you guys to do real quick before we hand out homework and stuff. I do want you to do this one here. I want you to actually solve the triangle. What does it mean to solve? Find all the sides and angles. Okay, so go ahead and find all my missing sides and all my missing angles. So in this particular problem, when it says solve the triangle, I needed to find what pieces of information?
See the angle,
Be specific. Angle A, angle B, and segment C. Okay? Which one should I have found first? Segment C, yes. AB, because I have side angle side. So the easiest thing to find at this point would have been that side across from angle C. So then you should have set it up as C squared is equal to 10 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 10 times 16 cosine 110. It doesn't matter whether you did 10 squared first or 16 squared first, because at the end, they're still adding. Okay? Same thing here. It doesn't matter whether you did 16 times 10, it still gives you the same 160 at the end. Okay? So we take the square root of whatever that was and what you guys get for C. Very good. Are you sure? Do I need to check your rounding? Did you do 3 significant figures and there's 10? 3 significant figures because they didn't tell you. Are you sure this is 0.6? Okay. Now, even though it is 0.6 here, if I have to use segment C to find either angle A or angle B, I should be using what? I should be using the whole thing. So let me just go ahead and store this into my calculator just to make sure. Okay. So now, what angle I'm going to find next? A or B? Give me one. Let's find A. So if I want to find angle A, what am I going to use? Sine. I could definitely use sine rule here, or law of sines. I can use law of cosines too now that I know all 3 sides. Set it up if I'm going to use sine rule.
21.6 over sine 110 equals 10 over sine of A, or 16 over sine of A.
Okay, make sure we use our non-rounded answer. Yes? When I cross multiply, I'll get 16 sine 110 equals the non-rounded answer, sine A. Then I'll have to what? Divide and then do the inverse of that answer. So I'm going to divide the 16 sine 110 by the non-rounded 21 answer and then do the inverse to find A. So I have that stored in my calculator. Let's double check to make sure you guys did your math right. Sine inverse 16 sine 110 divided by that long answer. Should be 44.2. So angle A is 44.2 degrees. Then to find angle B,
Same thing except for the 16s of 10.
I can do the same thing except for the 16s of 10 and A is a B, or remember there's 180 degrees in the triangle, and since I do know 2 of my angles already, I can just subtract 110 and that angle I just found from 180. We'll get the same answer whether we use law of sines or this method. Raise your hand if you use law of sines. Okay, let's see if you're right.
Yes.
There we go. But mine took like 10 seconds, right? Okay. I mean it's the same thing, but 25.8. Good stuff. Questions on using law of cosines to find side lengths or angle measures, or putting it all together? Yes. I gotta ask children to see if you gotta memorize them. But they're not hard though.